Thank you very much. Let's take our seats. CS National Treasury, CS Trade, my good friend, the Governor of the Central Bank. I was asking him outside here who the Governor of Central Bank is. And because he used to work for me on the other side until I lost him. Deputy Governor, distinguished friends, good afternoon. Occasions like this are very critical, not just because of the specific event we are here for, but also for the opportunity it affords us to remind one another of what we have set out to do and why we take the trouble to do it. And that is to review progress, achievements, and to reinforce our commitment to the journey of national transformation for the socio-economic advancement of all the people of our country. One of the fundamental commitments we made to the people of Kenya is to enlist every Kenyan in the task of nation building by opening up opportunities for citizens in their millions across the country to pursue engagements that enrich their lives and bring them closer to their aspirations by two primary means. The first one is to remove all the structural barriers to the contribution of the majority of our people and eliminate systemic obstacles to their participation at any level in all sectors. This is out of the realization that Kenyans are not only capable of meeting their needs and creating wealth through hard work, but they also aspire to contribute to the baking of a national cake large enough to feed all of us instead of just waiting for morsels distributed through sometimes adversarial, competitive, and untimely, and sometimes acrimonious political mechanisms, as we all know. The second is to facilitate millions of Kenyans to participate and make their contribution through innovative and transformative policies, programs, and projects that facilitate access to opportunity and to the means of turning these opportunities into incomes as a path to improve well-being and create wealth through savings and investments. And as I said yesterday, when I was somewhere in Meru, that the responsibility of nation building is first and foremost the collective responsibility of all of us as Kenyans. Each and every one of us, we need to ask ourselves the job of building Kenya. What is my contribution? Whatever it is, however small, however big, how am I making a contribution towards the nation that I belong to? Citizen of Kenya. And as we take the realization that it is our responsibility, first and foremost, and it is us who are going to build the country. And because it is us who are going to build the country, it is our effort, our energy, our sweat, our assets, our wealth that is going to build this country. And it is the reason why I have undertaken that this great effort by every Kenyan, their energy, their expertise, their resources, their contribution in whatever manner must be protected from the people who want to abuse it. That commitment to the people of Kenya to make sure that their resources are looked after and they are not lost through wastage or theft or corruption or any manner of loss of public resources. Through the bottom-up economic transformation agenda, we have established various mechanisms to implement the commitments I have said. They include the implementation of large-scale employment creation programs in various sectors, including agriculture, housing, and the MSME ecosystem, or hustler economy, the digitization and automation of government services, promotion of the participation of youth and women, creation of financial mechanisms to enhance inclusion, and the provision of infrastructure that promotes access to digital technologies. At the foundation of these interventions is the principle that our economic system must be refined through transformation into an environment of opportunities and a tide that lifts all boats regardless of size, speed, shape, purpose, or build. In this context, this event is very significant. We are here to launch a very special boat set to sail into an operating environment transforming under the bottom-up economic transformation agenda. It is appropriate that the boat we launch on this occasion represents the intersection of fundamental components of our transformative agenda. First of all, the Central Securities Depository, CSD as it's called, has been automated and digitized to enhance its security and to enable it to serve investors faster and much more efficiently. Additionally, the CSD Investor Portal and the M-Akiba digital application have freed up access to the opportunity to invest and trade in government securities, enabling people of all walks of life to participate in the securities market, thereby facilitating a bottom-up growth of the sector, as has been explained by the many people who I saw in that little presentation state. Thirdly, the use of technology to enhance security, efficiency, transparency, and inclusion is a constant theme in the implementation of our programs, as you may well have seen from making sure that we digitize all government services No, we have had a robust two-way conversation on to just pay the principal. And I expect that the tax-paying public will take advantage, especially those who are trapped in the space I am talking about. This initiative alleviates financial burdens and aligns with our commitment to a fair taxpayers with principal tax debts incurred before 1st January 2023 can therefore take advantage of this opportunity. The amnesty program assists taxpayers facing financial challenges related to unpaid taxes, thus fostering economic growth and inclusivity by all Kenyan citizens. On banking, a myriad of threats, singly or in combination, pose fast mutating dangers and constantly test the integrity and resilience of our financial system. I am delighted that on both scores, the central bank is perfectly up to the task and has been able to ensure the soundness of our financial system and stewarded the emergence of a diverse, sophisticated, and competitive banking and financial service sector. I want to commend the central bank specifically for bringing back the interbank forex market that had become a challenge. The DAO being launched here will carry our aspirations for prosperity and dreams of successful wealth building, just as it once took indomitable traders, explorers, and other adventurers across vast uncharted oceans to explore, discover, and engage with opportunities in shores far away. Vasco da Gama and those other people are a case in point. Arguably, DAOs were the earliest technologies of globalization. It is therefore fit that today, the irrepressible go-getting spirit of the ancient pioneers who set out in DAOs in search of opportunity has been invoked in an era of high-tech automation and digitization, and now finds expression in the form of products that shall radically transform the way investment in treasury bills and government bonds are undertaken and managed. Account opening, bidding, purchase, and sale in the secondary market are now conducted through a digital platform going forward. I applaud the vision that imagined and developed the Central Securities Depository DAO to facilitate secure trading in Kenyan government securities in local, regional, and international financial markets. The electronic system domiciled in the Central Bank of Kenya facilitates centralized custody of these securities and secures updating of the status of transactions relating to them. The transformation lies in fact that the new system delivers convenience, efficiency, and speed without compromising security and has enhanced security and transparency overall. With this new innovation, investors no longer need to physically visit central bank's head or branch offices to undergo the manual process of opening CSD accounts, which previously took 14 days and involved laborious manual transactions. The makers, operators, and users of the DAO from antiquity to our generation are united by one philosophy: the recognition that money is impatient and opportunities in the financial markets wait for no one. By retiring manual processes and providing digital platforms, the DAO allows investors to transact electronically at any time, from anywhere, in a matter of a few minutes. I think we've been told here how long it takes. The CST Investors Portal and mobile application have also delivered inclusion by opening up access to the securities market to everyone, regardless of their status, including many of whom the requirement of physical travel and manual transactions presented significant barriers. Just like the Hustler Fund, automation of services through digital platforms is firmly aligned with our commitment to expand opportunities for Kenyans in their millions. The transformation is already underway, and the central bank is now opening, I am told, 250 new CST accounts daily. Before, it used to open 100 accounts monthly. In the first month of its operation, I'm told it is 3 weeks and a bit, 6,366 new accounts have been opened. A strong response from Kenyans has made a robust system, and the stage is set for record-breaking activities. The DAO is therefore a powerful incentive for Kenyans at all stages of our socioeconomic pyramid to enhance their wealth creation capabilities and engagements. The DAO, this CSD DAO for that matter, also strengthened the CBK's capacity to implement its mandate and enhancing its working relationship with the banking and financial institutions. Its responsibility to maintain the robustness, integrity, efficiency, and competitiveness of Kenya's financial ecosystem has received a major boost through the refinement, together with the resultant benefits of price stability, a coherent and effective monetary policy implementation framework, and enhanced stability of the financial system. Similarly, these innovative improvements have brought the benefits of transparency accountability to the government by automating the auction of treasury bills and treasury bonds. I think the framers and the leadership of Central Bank have done a commendable job. Tuwapige makofi jameni. I think we saw from the presentation here that this whole ecosystem will now be available on a digital platform, and we can all view it from where we will be, and you can be able to make decisions faster, much more accurately, and in a manner that leverages and gives everybody advantage to make the best decisions, because you will be armed with the most and the best available information for you to make the decisions for investment. To single out, what we are launching today has done, in my opinion, 3 very important things. Number 1, we now reduce the opening of accounts, CSD accounts for that matter, from 14 days to a few minutes. I'm told 5 minutes. That is transformative. It has also given us an opportunity to digitize the whole of this space and to have a web-based, app-enabled mechanism of engaging with the whole space of our financial market, especially on the trading of treasury bills and treasury bonds. And it has also introduced a big component of transparency and opening up the space for many people to participate. The benefits of true transformation are numerous and varied and extend far and wide. The beneficiaries of the revolution launched through the CBK's CS DAO are only beginning to be recognized. Like the maps, treasure, and knowledge of opportunities in distant lands that the DAOs returned with those days, the full reach of the vision behind this transformation will be revealed in days to come. And I look forward to it, Governor and your team. Let me also give you some feedback. You know, I have listened to the whole of this transaction. We had a conversation today in the morning, and I have a bit of feedback, which I am sure will enrich your thinking going into the future. I know, for example, that there is a requirement for one to have a bank account in Kenya. And on this, I am speaking to many Kenyans who do not have a bank account. I'm also speaking to many Kenyans in the diaspora, speaking for many Kenyans who are in the diaspora who may not necessarily have a Kenyan bank account. My advice and feedback to the team is that you need to make it possible for Kenyans who do not have a bank account but have an M-Pesa account to also participate in this space. I also want to ask the team to look at the possibility of Kenyans in the diaspora who may not necessarily have a Kenyan bank account to use their Visa or MasterCard or credit card accounts to be able to also participate in the purchase of government securities. This will expand the scope of participants. It will democratize this space even further and make it possible for a bigger majority of Kenyans and investors from both local and in the international space to participate in this endeavor. The concern, of course, is usually KYC. But I think, speaking from where I am and with the experience of the Financial Inclusion Fund, commonly known as the Hustler Fund, I think the KYC provided by telcos is solid enough for it to be relied upon as a mechanism of knowing who these people are. I also believe very strongly that credit card agencies have sufficient KYC information for us to be able to rely on them to facilitate this process. That is my feedback number one. Feedback number two. I know at the moment we are working on bonds and treasury bills, 100,000 and 50,000. I think there is space again to democratize that space better. There is a case that I want to make for the people who do not necessarily want to work on 50,000. And I'm making a case for what we wanted to do with Emakiba before. The Emakiba did not go very far because it had many challenges. I am persuaded that it is possible for us to reduce the denomination. And I want the team to work on what is this denomination that can democratize that space so that the person you told us here, there is a person in Moyale. There was a reference to Moyale by somebody here. I suspect that that person in Moyale may not necessarily have the 50,000, but they could be having 5,000. And because there is no requirement now for them to travel to Nairobi, and they can transact on their phone, there is absolutely no reason why we cannot facilitate that person in Moyale or indeed in any part of Kenya to have a transaction of 5,000. So again, we need a bit of democratizing that space and reducing the denomination of the available instruments, not necessarily in the region of 50,000 or 100,000, but I think the team should be able, Governor Thuge, to democratize that space. And I have seen how we lock out many people sometimes by working with big numbers. And let me give you an example. Just in the city of Nairobi, we have 2.1 million people who have borrowed from the Hustler Fund, 2.1 million people. And in Nairobi alone, we have lent something like 5.7 billion to very small people, in Nairobi alone. Nationally, we've lent about 35 billion. In a record 8-9 months, right? So if anybody underestimated the people in the small economy, as you may want to call it, you have to think again. And we have about 7 million people regular borrowing and paying in that space. We need to open up space for those people who are borrowing to also buy government paper. I don't know whether we still call it government paper now, or the paper is out, you know. So to buy government security, right? So and I have one other reason why I am pushing for these people. It is completely undemocratic for us who are in this space that one person has the opportunity to buy and to get 10% as they invest, and then another person can only invest and get 2%, because that's what majority of the people with 5,000, 10,000 get 2-3% from their savings. And yet, in the same space, we have those of us who have a bit more money, and we are getting 10-12% from government security. I think we need to make it possible for even the person who is currently being paid 2-3% to also move their fortunes to the space of 9-10%. I think it's only fair. And it's not too much to ask, is it? I don't think so. So again, that's the reason why I think we need to democratize that space. And finally, one more feedback. And I hope I'm not going to torpedo the whole thing. It's only that I have to speak to the people who cannot make it to this forum. You know, there are so many people who cannot make it here, but they have hired me. So I am here to represent them. You know, many of them cannot come past the watchman at the gate. So we also need to, you need to think about the redemption mechanism. You know, I know we have the journey on how you can redeem your investment in this space. You need to democratize that also so that the smaller investors in that space can have much more flexible terms of redeeming their investment without the challenge that we experienced initially with Emakiba, that some of the people who invested in Emakiba ended up whenever they made certain decisions, they got less money than they had invested. We need to avoid that kind of thing. So we have to think, and I am happy that Luz and team have told us that they are seized of that particular reality, and they are going to make some provisions or some decisions on making sure that that happens, and that we can carry as many people as possible along. It is the journey that we have undertaken, that we need to democratize opportunity, whether it is employment, whether it is business, whether it is access to credit, whether it is access to being able to participate in government securities. We must be as inclusive as is practically possible, because that is the only way we can move together, and we can leverage on all our capacities, and we can leverage on every citizen of the Republic of Kenya to participate in baking a bigger cake for us to be able to enjoy together. Finally, let me undertake that we will continue to work with all the agencies in this financial space to make sure that we do not slip into spaces that will not add value to our progress. We will continue to do what we must do to keep inflation in check, to deploy whatever resources we can to make sure that we manage the cost of living, we manage the cost of food, and I am very happy that the interventions we have put in place are actually responding. We had an inflation rate of about 9.3 or thereabout. It's now down to 6.7. It is our intention to continue doing the interventions that will continue to take it down, so that it is in line with our commitments, both to our budget and also all the other spaces that are there. And we will continue to make the right decisions, and we are leveraging on technology. Maybe just to give you an idea, is that we leverage on technology to give us the data on farmers. For the first time, we distributed fertilizer using technology. Every farmer was on a technology platform to be able to access their fertilizer, and it has helped us to make it efficient, to eliminate brokers, to remove crooks, to remove middlemen that were creating unnecessary confusion, and that is why we have been able to manage the cost of fertilizer that is come down significantly from 6,000 plus to now about 2,500. I want to commit that we shall continue in making sure that there are interventions that would help us in that space. Never mind the chronic propagandists and those people who believe in voodoo, because they are telling us that, I don't know, there was some 30,000 tons of, I don't know, fertilizer from where. I want to tell you, we have deployed about 280,000 tons of fertilizer, about 4.5 million bags by now. And prudently, using data, using technology, we have delivered fertilizer efficiently. And we have used science. We did a survey of all our soils, and we have distributed fertilizer that is scientifically tailored for all the soils in the various regions and for the different groups in the different regions, using science, not voodoo. So those who are telling us that we have sold, I don't know, sand, or is it soils? I don't know, they have sold what? It's because they believe in voodoo, we believe in science. There are two different areas. And we will continue to make sure that we use data, we use technology, we use science to continue to deal with the challenges of making sure that we manage inflation. I am very proud that we are moving in this direction, and Governor, I encourage you and your team. You have our support. And the feedback I have given you, I will come back in a month. I have an undertaking from Lusa. Where is he? I thought I saw him here. I have an undertaking from that man there that you will incorporate the feedback I have given you from the hustlers so that they too can participate in this very important exercise, and they can make their contribution and enjoy the benefits that come from trading and doing business with the government of Kenya, especially in this securities space. I want to also encourage the CMA. I see the CMA people here. And the NSC, I saw them speak around this issue. There is a lot that can be done in that space. And I am not seeing movement in that space, especially on the issues that we discussed when I came to Nairobi Securities Exchange. I know I have a part to keep, and that is to deliver some government companies for sale. I am working on it. But there is some homework also you need to work on. If you need feedback from me, I will write them down and send it to you, so that you can work on it. Because building Kenya is a collective effort, and everybody must pull their weight so that we can take this forward. Thank you very much, good people. I now declare the DAO CSD officially launched. Pongezi.
Much, Your Excellency. And if you are paying keen attention, you'll notice that he gave 3 points of feedback. Na Kenya mambo ni mangapi? I say no more. Your Excellency, we are done with the first part. Na since mambo ni matatu, tumebakisha mawili.